Good afternoon. This is Tony Dattino doing my Live with Tony on Friday afternoon, wrapping up another week of Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And for this evening's Live with Tony, I just find this so fascinating in terms of how it links to so many things we talk about in Maximum Memory Mastery. It's what are the factors that generate happiness? So what are those factors that generate happiness? And this comes out of the September issue of the Mind, Mood, and Memory put out by the Massachusetts General Hospital. And I just found this so interesting in how it parallels the things we've discussed in the Maximum Memory Mastery as it relates to mental health and cognitive fitness, and some nuances that they have here that I thought were worth sharing with my Live with Tony audience. So let's go through this. First question you got to ask yourself is, you think you're happy? And that's always an interesting question, depending upon the time of the day or the day of the week or the time of the year. But it's what's important in terms of being happy. And the authors, the research has been done at Harvard University by a Dr. Robert Waldinger and by a Dr. William Henry, Arthur Brooks at Harvard. So these two gentlemen have done an extensive amount of research on happiness, and the first question obviously is, are you happy, and do you know why you're happy? So are there things that you know that you do that help promote that? And if you're not happy, do you know some of the things that you might be able to do that would help bring behaviors into your life that make you happy? Now, why do I link into this? Well, everything that we have been doing in the memory mastery and in the work that we're doing with USA Memory Championship is all about how do we improve mental fitness, our memories, creativity, relationships. So it all consistently comes back to our mental fitness and cognitive capabilities. And so anything that I read that ties to cognitive fitness and our capabilities and how we live life, to me is a relevant topic that I like to share with my Live with Tony audience. And as I read this yesterday, I just found that there had some really nice tips in here that I thought about. But what was important in the article is it really stressed that happiness can be skills, as we talk about memory, right? So parallel memory are skills, happiness are skills that we can learn throughout our life and changing behaviors in our life that help build a more happy human, a more happy personality, a more happy person in how we go about our day-to-days. So in addition to staying physically active, the Harvard study has found 6 key factors that contribute to happiness, as well as 2 really, really important ones, which I'll cover once I go through the 6. So here we go. Not being a smoker, or at least stopping at a young age. Now, I wish they would explain why not being a smoker is important to happiness, but not smoking is their first factor, and not abusing alcohol is number 2. So let's not smoke and let's not alcohol. Adopting coping mechanisms. We talk about that in our stress management and how it's important to memory and retaining information. Having some coping mechanisms. Maintaining a healthy marriage or long-term relationships. We're going to come back to that because in our Maximum Memory Mastery, we're always talking about the importance of social interaction, and that keeps showing up over and over again in the science of cognitive fitness and mental fitness. So how do we maintain, if it's not a healthy marriage, how do we maintain long-term relationships? And I've done some Live with Tonys on this earlier this year where it broke down. We need to have at least, or we should have at least 4 or 5 very close friends in our network. Then we can expand that to maybe 20 that we may talk to on a periodic basis, and then maybe there's 100 in our total world that we may come across in the space of a year. But the constant impact of social interaction here. So they're saying maintaining long-term relationships. Next, being educated, formally or informally, with the point of continuing to learn. The mental challenges we talk about in the Maximum Memory Mastery, continuing to learn. as one of the critical factors. In other words, Dr. Brooks says, happiness does not just happen. It's not by chance that you're happy or not. It's what are the investments or the things that you're doing within your life to just naturally bring thinking to your body, emotions to yourself that help you feel happy about yourself. So this makes a lot of sense. And so the Harvard study followed a bunch of their students throughout their lives, and they wanted to learn what led them to happier and healthier lives, and what contributed to either poor health or unhappiness. So that was really fascinating in terms of the key factors of these students that left Harvard. Now everybody thinks if you go to Harvard, man, life is just going to be a bowl of cherries and everything's going to be falling right in front of you. And so they followed these students, and amongst the most profound findings was, regardless of their career success, having happy, supportive relationships was the most consistent indicator of lifelong happiness. I get so excited about this because we always talk about the importance of relationships and social interactions. And so we determine who are the people that we can trust, that we can talk with, that we can have conversations with. When we have those moments of despair, these moments of bouncing a little bit in our lives, something doesn't work quite the way we want it to work, who do we lean on? Who do we talk to? I always look at people when I'm coaching and talking to leaders, especially in higher level positions. Who are the 3 or 4 people that you think you can reach out to and lean on if you just need to bounce some of your thinking off of them, or you just need to, you're having a bad day, don't go home and kick the dog, yell at the kids, and start at dinner on the wrong side of the table. Think about who do you reach out to that you trust and has confidence, that hears you, has some empathy for you, but can bring you to a different level of thinking. And so in this Harvard research, they talk about the most powerful relationships in our lives are the kinds that nurture our well-being and help us to manage stress. So in our Maximum Memory Mastery, we talk about stress. Well, who are the relationships that we have, be it our spouse, and sometimes even your kids, depends on how old your kids are and the wisdom. I have 2 kids that are amazing, and I seek out their wisdom often. Why not? They know what they're doing. Their feet are on the ground. Relationships have that stress-relieving effect. If you have a bad day and you can talk to someone that you trust and are close to, you can actually feel your body begin to calm down. Imagine if you didn't have that in your life. Older adults, especially those living alone, need to maintain these relationships, though it may be challenging and they may need to do some additional things, especially in the COVID lockdown time period. And so I say this is the biggest study of quarantining, the biggest study in the importance of relationships to people that will ever have, and what its impact is having in terms of people's emotional well-being, their life expectancies, their mental functioning. And so we're smack dab in the middle of that whole thing. So what do you have to do? Take advantage of any social interactions you have. I tell people sometimes, just if you are in an apartment, just sit out and look out the window and just watch people. You don't have to be screaming and yelling and talking with them. Just watch them. See what they're doing. Make it a study. Become a person that just studies other humans. And so just observe. See what people are doing. What are kids doing? What are adults doing? Can you hear any conversations? Or maybe you open a window and you say, okay, let me just listen and enjoy other people's conversations. Somebody's laughing. What are they laughing about? So just find some things that help, that can keep relationships going. Obviously, what they're suggesting here in the Harvard research is in-person interaction is still the best. And then they went on to talk about this. I found interesting. Introverts are finding the COVID period of time to be extremely beneficial because they're introverts and they're just not social beings. Yet it's important that they maintain really close and tight relationships and friendships with a handful of people. Whereas extroverts tend to be more open and wanting to be social and want to go out and be the life of the party. and they're out there all the time, and they are easily engaged in social. But what the research is suggesting is, but are they building a handful of those solid, trusting friendships and relationships of people they can pick up the phone, talk to, and rely on in times of crises and or times of difficulty? I could go on and on with social interaction. In our maximum memory, of course, it's covered, but we cover it in more detail in a new course that's going to be coming out soon called The Factors of Mental Fitness and Brain Health. But the other element in this research that I wanted to talk about is, so in that regard, if you want to get out in the social world, find people that you can serve and you can help them. So become a coach, a mentor, a friend to somebody else, and see what you can do in guiding them through maybe challenges they have in their life, so that basically you're helping someone else, and it defines a purpose that you have that seems to be innate, to where you've made a difference in someone's life. And that counts. And what the Harvard research is saying is helping others produces psychological and physical benefits. Feeling useful really helps boost your mood, and boosting your mood actually reduces